Gig. Oh, wow, shoot. Hang on. I did that wrong. I gotta edit the beginning of that. That's fine. All right, here we go. We'll do this again. Gig Gab, episode 510 for Monday, December 1st, National Peppermint Bark Day 2025.
Is it National Peppermint Bark Day?
It is National Peppermint Bark Day.
What?
Yes, it is. I'm going to play the theme music. Are you cool with that?
Yeah.
Great. Here we go. None of my systems are working right today, and we're just going to roll with it.
Let's see what happens.
I love peppermint bark, though.
Yeah, heck yeah. Hey, who played on this? Is this you playing drums?
It's not. It's a band I was in, believe it or not. And I thought I had recorded the drums for this track, but evidently I've been told since then that I joined the band after this album was recorded. I really thought I recorded it, but But no.
I've had those.
I've for sure.
Those. There's a couple Beatles albums I thought I recorded on, and it turns out I didn't.
You and Bernard Purdy alike. Folks, welcome to Gig Gab, the show by, for, and about working musicians here on National Peppermint Bark Day. I am Dave Hamilton, and today you've already heard from him. We're welcoming back a true friend and guest of the show. You've heard him with Train and Grace Potter and all kinds of other things. And what makes him such a great guest and a great drummer isn't just the credits, though. It's his ability to adapt and listen and do the job that the music needs. Matt Musty, thanks so much for coming back on the show on National Peppermint Bark Day of all days.
God, I can't believe you had me on this day. What a special day to be back on. Thank you.
It's a special day. Yeah, you're welcome.
And thank you for those lovely compliments. I was going to fish for some compliments, but you already did it. So
I try to take care of it out of the gate so that
we can just move on.
We can get past it.
What do you hate about me?
Well, you know. Yeah, so it's been a couple of years, year and a half, maybe a little more than a year and a half since you've been on, and there's some more things to talk about here that we got into kind of your history and who you are in the first episode. And of course, I'll put a link to that in the show notes so that anybody that wants to catch up on that. But let's catch up a little bit here. Train has played in the last year and a half. You've played some very special venues. I mean, you played Royal Albert Hall. You played the Grand Ole Opry. Things have really leveled up for you guys.
Yeah, I think thank you. It's been a busy couple of years, and the Royal Albert Hall thing. It's fun because Pat, the singer, it's hard to find a thing he hasn't done.
Sure.
And so when Royal Albert Hall got booked, of course, we all were like, hell yeah. And anytime you see like Red Rocks on the schedule, you're just like, yes. And nothing really phases him. So when that was on the schedule, he's like, I've been wanting to play that room my entire life. I can't believe we get to do that. And that was like a momentous occasion because Pat, it's something that he hadn't done. Something that we got to cross off his bucket list with him.
I was going to say, you got to do it as a band together.
Yes.
Right? And that, that's special. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
So, okay, he hates this story, but I love it. 10 minutes before showtime, we're all jet lagged. It's early. We just got over there. He's in his dressing room, dead to the world, asleep, gonna conk out, and planning on conking out for like 9-10 hours, whatever time it is in the U.S. He's like over it and tired.
He's ready to, tour
manager knocking on his door, not getting up. It's 10 minutes. Like the opener's done, the changeover's done. Let's go. And he just like, oh my God. And we heard, over the radio, pat, 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 pat. And it was just chaos until the downbeat. And we were taping. We're doing like a live taping.
Right.
And it was just like the stakes were high, like higher at least than a normal gig. And he's asleep. And I'm just like, what you did just now, we're like 2 minutes from stage. And I go, what you just did is my absolute nightmare. Like I wake up in cold sweats thinking about if that ever happened to me and how it can never happen. And I can't believe you just did that and you're about to go do this.
Amazing.
And his manager looks at me and goes, nice pep talk, Musty.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it happens, right? It's like, amazing.
He's just, jet lag is jet lag. So
yes.
Clearly it wasn't as special to him as it was for me. No,
maybe it was so special that he just he passed out from the exhaustion of trying to experience this moment.
Yeah, he was just too in it.
We'll give him that.
It turned out great, and it was a really special moment for us. And like we ended up seeing it playing on a couple of airlines for a season. You know, it was great. It was a really proud moment for me, and I think for the rest of the guys too. It all went well.
Well, congratulations. Yes, I mean, it makes perfect sense. I'm glad that it was a proud moment. It would be. And I mean, this does happen when you get into the routine of playing gigs, and you just sort of like, okay, it's time to do the thing. We do the thing. Okay, great. Woo, yay. Okay, bye. Go, moving on. But it's to paraphrase Ferris Bueller, it's good to smell the roses every now and then.
Yeah, you know? Every gig is a certain level of special and amazing, and like, to have a job where you play Drops of Jupiter at the end of the night. It's so nice, it's such a comfort. It's such a like cozy, comforting blanket to know that like even if you're having the worst gig of your life, you get to play Drops at the end of the night and you're gonna win. So like that's great.
Yeah, that's true.
But like the Royal Albert Hall thing was especially great. And also another story that I'm reminded of is I went on your social media the other day and you had me do a 15 second piece of advice.
Yes.
And I was like, be on time. Just be on time. Just be on time. That day I was on time, as usual. But two of the guys were late to the like transport over there, a little van Sprinter situation. And because they were late, they got to meet Jimmy Page in the lobby of our hotel. And were rewarded for their bad behavior. And the three of us are sitting in the van going, you just met Jimmy. Oh, you got a photo too? And you asked him to pop by the show. You had a real experience with Jimmy Page right minutes before we're going to play Royal Albert Hall.
Wow!
So it was a little bit more special for those guys,
right, than
it was for me.
Yeah, well, that's nice. That's nice. We were talking pre-show about how sometimes life, often, almost always, life takes those very special moments and just puts a little asterisk on them to remind you. You don't always get to have nice things. You got to have one nice thing.
Thing, but then the guys who were late got to have two nice things. So
yes.
I don't know that my advice is apt. Maybe you show up late. Maybe I've got it wrong.
I for gigs, rehearsals, any of those things, I definitely like to embrace the mentality of, if you're 15 minutes early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. Like that whole thing. And it is a good way to get and preserve gigs. But for like work meetings and things like that, I find that showing up about 1 minute late is very efficient. It's not disrespectful, but it cuts through all the BS and then you just start. There's none of this like, well, we're going to sort of dance around and that kind of thing. So maybe there is a world where we can kind of merge these two things, and perhaps those two bandmates of yours have already figured that life hack out. So
yeah, maybe that's it.
Because they knew you were going to wait for them. Can't do the show. Can't do the show.
It's a power move. Really, it's just a power move.
It's totally a power move.
Comes down to their egos.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And I think there's part of that, like with the work meetings, it's like the power move. Like if you show up that 1 minute, there's a window there. If you go too far, then it's disrespectful. But if you ride it just right, you show up and you have the power. Like it is yours in that moment.
What I've been known to do is not leave early, but like I'm thinking specifically about recording sessions, and I think to the detriment maybe of some career moves is I'm not ever the guy who hangs around. After the drums are done, after I've done shaker and tambo in the core, whatever that is, and I'm like, are we good? And then I leave. And I've noticed over the years that the people who hang out get more opportunities eventually, but I'm just like, man, my job's done. I don't want to wear out my welcome. I'm out of here. So maybe there's a thing to leaving early too. You get there early, which drummers do to the studio.
Yes.
Get there
absolutely.
Early, you leave early.
Interesting. I've definitely done that in the studio. My issue is I have a combination of FOMO for all the things that you're talking about. The people that like, oh, there was some extra little like harmony things that we could have done together, but no, okay, you weren't there. But then
Hand
also
claps,
the hand claps, right? The
gang vocals. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're not part of those gang vocals. You're not part of all that stuff. But also, so in addition to FOMO, I'm a massive control freak. And so that's also what keeps me from leaving early. It's like, well, are they going to F it up? Like, I don't know, so.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it depends on the project and my involvement in it. Most of the time, I'm just in a studio, hired to be there, hired to not have an opinion.
Yes.
And then leave. So before I can develop an opinion, usually I'm out of there.
You get out.
Or onto the next song or whatever it is.
Right. That's actually really smart, because if you're hired not to have, as someone who's a control freak, I will always develop an opinion. And once I do, I have a really hard time not expressing that opinion.
See,
So
I don't unless it's something I'm really involved with the creative side of it, then it sneaks in there. But, But even then, if there's cooks in the kitchen, generally, if someone asks what I think, I'll let them know. And if there's just too many cooks, I'll let them know and then be like, but I'm happy either way. You can take this or leave it.
Yes.
And at least you know where I'm at.
Yeah. You're better at that than me.
It's just a long game diplomatic approach.
Well, I mean, I think there's something to that. Anytime I look, I'm reminded of when I saw James Taylor a couple of years ago, that it was a last minute thing. It was like literally noon of the day that the show was happening. Lisa, I came home for lunch. Lisa, my wife, said to me, hey, James Taylor's playing in Guilford tonight, which is a venue right near us. I think we talked about it the last time you were on the show. Hometown venue. Everybody that comes on this show talks about this venue because it's the venue that spoils the heck out of you. But anyway, Meadowbrook. Yep. And it was just like, an hour from the house or whatever. And it was a beautiful day. And I was like, okay, well, let's look. So we found tickets, last minute tickets were fairly cheap, 8th row or something.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was last minute, expiring inventory and all.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, great. And I go back to my desk and I'm like waiting for a meeting to start. I'm like, well, who's who's the gig? Like who am I going to see tonight? And sure enough, it was, this A-list cast of people. Steve Gadd was on drums. I'm like, oh, what an amazing thing. Lou Marini, I think, was playing sax. So it's like, right. It was like, oh.
And those songs, like there's.
And also James Taylor and those songs.
Better than James Taylor, those songs in that band.
On a warm summer night, this was going to be perfect, right? And it was. But as I'm reading through the band bios, and people who've listened long enough have heard me tell this story a couple times, but I think it's important and it's relevant to our conversation here. The way they did the band bios was they clearly asked every band member like 10 questions and had them write, 1-sentence responses. And then they picked the 3 best from each person and put those out, and that was your bio, right? So easy way to get people to write a bio about themselves that nobody ever wants to write. And this was in the pre-Chat GPT days when people just used Chat GPT to write a bio about yourself, right? So for everyone that their answer was published for the question, what do you love about the tour, or what, that every single answer was, it's a good hang. It was not about the music. It was not about whether or not the people on stage could play. All of that was table stakes. You knew what the music was going to be. You knew that everybody would be able to play because James Taylor's not going to hire people who can't. But it's the people that are a good hang. And what you're describing here, being in the studio, that long game approach to diplomacy, I think, is probably what gets you and keeps you gigs like the ones that you have.
Yeah, it's so much tour versus studio is such a different thing.
It is, yeah.
But the same principles apply. I think that's such a. I always say on tour, it's the other 23 hours of the day.
Yes.
And
I've said the same thing. Yes.
Yeah. And also like people when they're discussing and ranking different gigs in the world, it's like, okay, material, good songs, good money, good hang. You have to have 2 of the 3. If you have 3 out of the 3, it's a unicorn.
Yeah.
But music, money, hang. You got to have 2 of those.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
To be like fulfilled, to be like
to
really
be fulfilled. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's true.
And that's a good philosophy, and like it's a good rule of thumb. Just like 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
No, it's not. Yeah.
But yeah, good hang is the only thing, you know. Like when we're on the bus, all we're doing is watching comedy. You know, we're not talking about music. There's no music discussion, unless we're watching like the Billy Joel doc, which we did this summer. You know, then it's like, okay, we're having a Billy Joel phase. But generally, it's like, let's just watch Detroiters, you know, and hang out.
Something stupid to pass the time. Yeah. Exactly.
Because you gotta pass the time, and you've got months to go. So like, not every gig is Guilford or Royal Albert Hall.
Yep.
You gotta get through the slog. You know.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. No. That was. I always said it's the other 22 hours of the day that you got to manage, and that's a good day because you had a gig. The days off, it's the full 24 that you got to manage on top of the 22 prior to that or after that, whatever it is.
I do love the a lot of bands take. On tour, they take 2-3 days off at a time.
Yep.
And I love that my guy wants to be out there and work, like, because it just passes the time. It makes it go faster if you have a show. It's hard on the crew. It's hard on everyone. But like, I'd rather, if we're not home, like, because I love being home. If we're not home, might as well be working. You know.
Yes.
Might as well be playing the drums. Might as well be.
In the system.
Thinking about the job and not thinking about how you're not home.
Yeah, when I was on the road with Hypnotic Clambake, the days off were the risky days for a lot of reasons, you know. But we did one stretch. I remember we played 14 gigs in 14 different cities, 14 nights in a row.
Oh.
But you get into the system. It's just like, okay, well, you know, you just do the same thing each day. Wash, rinse, repeat.
Routine. Yeah.
It's the show day routine, and we were our own crew at that point. So, you know, we had a lot of work to do both before and after the gig, which was great. You know, On the 15th day, I'll never forget. We were sitting in somewhere. It was in Kent, Ohio. A fan of the band had like a house, like a big house, and he would give us like the downstairs so we could just like chill.
Yeah.
And we were sitting there, and we had probably spent about, we were just sitting and chatting, and then the conversations just sort of ended, and we were all sitting there. Nobody had phones or anything at this point in time, so it wasn't like, you know, everybody fell into their phones. We were just literally quiet for 15 minutes, and after 15 minutes, the band leader looks at me, and he says, "Hey, man, how come you don't work out?" And I was like, 40 pounds lighter than I am today, and had just played the drums and hauled equipment for 14 days. Our gigs were, I was like, I'm like, have you turned around at all for the last 14 nights? Like, what do you talk? But it was, it was just this, and the rest of the band was like,
what more could you do? What more could you do in the day?
You know, why are we poking at each other now?
Yeah.
It's because we don't have anything to do all day.
Yeah, boredom breeds that.
Boredom breeds that. That's exactly what it was. It was like, why do we want to foment hatred amongst ourselves? Like, this is a bad idea. Yeah. We're stuck together.
Don't poke the bear. We got 3 weeks left. You know, get out of here.
Just stop. And the other bandmates saw it happening, and they're like, you know, basically just like, oh, no, like deflect, move, split. It was like,
hey, so what else is
So what else is going on? You know,
weather, huh? It's crazy.
You want to go outside with me? Let's go.
There's you reminded me of an old story that was like, I was on tour with this guy 100 years ago, and we had an Airbnb that someone gave us the upstairs. They lived downstairs. Sure. And, you know, we were our own tour managers at that point, and we booked this Airbnb because we thought it was a good idea. It wasn't. And we get there. We're ragged. We've been driving for like 16 hours.
Yeah.
Me, most of it. And we get there, and they're hyped up. They're like stoked to have us, clearly know who the singer is, and invite us downstairs where they've prepared like some snacks and some like tables in a circle, and that we're like, you know what, before we go to bed, let's have a drink with these guys and socialize and say hi, and it's great. We go down there, and we're just like out of our minds, you know. It's been a long tour, it's been a long day. All we want to do is sleep. And me especially, I'm just like in that zone where I've committed. I know where my bed is. I've dropped my bags. I can't wait to get in there. And I go down and I have a hang with them. I eat the snacks. I have a drink. I make good with all of my promises of like, yeah, I'll come hang. And I decide I'm finally going to bed. And as I get up, they're artists, and they have these 3D paintings, these very like dimensional paintings that they've done.
Sure.
And in order to the process of getting that to hang on a wall and stay out like this, dimensional, is letting it be on the ground drying for several days. And I feel my foot as I'm getting up go straight into one of these, something wet and like wet clay. And I ruin one of their paintings. And I spend the rest of the night just apologizing, because I've seen the price tags on the wall of this Airbnb. It's 15 grand for this one and 20 for this one. And I just spend the whole rest of the night hanging out with them, because all they want to do is trade stories and talk about the band and the singer.
Yes.
And I just spend the whole night with them, even though all I wanted to do was sleep.
Yep.
I was like, okay, I stepped in your painting. You own me for the next 24 hours. What do you want to know?
Yep. I early on in the tour with the Clambake, one of the fans of the band, we would often look for a place to park the bus and then sleep on the bus. But somebody's house, and we didn't have. We were on a converted school bus, so
right.
It was
This
like
was
we didn't have
a converted airport shuttle bus.
Okay, so you didn't have a bathroom on the bus or anything. Like it was good to have like a place to go in, and that was fine. And after this one early gig on the tour, this woman was like, I have room in my apartment, but you can park out in front of it, and I actually have 2 beds there, so 2 of you can sleep in the apartment instead of the bus. And I was a newbie at this whole thing, and I'm like, ooh, I'll take one of the beds. And I'm like, wait, none of the other guys like volunteered. Okay, and our bass player was like, I'll take the other bed, and I realized after everything that he did this to keep me company. He did not do it because he wanted the other bed, because we get there and it was the same kind of thing. It was like, oh, we'll have snacks and we'll drinks, and we'll chit chat and it's like we're going to hang out, and it's like, but now it's 6 a.m. I wanted to be asleep by 3 a.m., but that's because the gig ended at 1. Like, what are we doing here? And as we were going to bed, I said to our bass player, I'm like, Chris, thank you. He's like, yeah, just don't do it again. I'm like, I got you.
And your first gray appeared.
Yes.
Like it's just the way it goes. You have those weird experiences, and especially if it's early on in a tour, it starts compounding, and you're like, wow, I really just need to sleep. Not like it's like, it's such a weird industry because we cannot complain and should not complain. However, you do have that thing where you're just like, I need to be in a bed and sleep for 2 days.
Yes.
Because just emotionally you're drained. Physically you're spent. There's just, it all adds up. Just
it's not an easy thing.
Touring is both the greatest and worst job in the world because of the strain that it takes on every part of you. On
every part of your life except for the part of the playing music. That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And some nights the music is, you're just like, you're not feeling it. You can't lock in whatever it is. You just can't do it. Yeah. And you're not there, and it's because of all this other stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, I remember talking to Boyd Tinsley, who was the original fiddle player in the Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah.
And that band did very well on their own initially. They sold like 100,000 copies of their first CD on their own. And then, of course, they got a record deal, which basically turned out to be a blank piece of paper with a signature at the bottom. And the record company was just like, fill out the rest and we'll do it with you because we know you're going to be successful, because they'd already proven it. And once the record company got involved, Boyd was telling me, it's like, it's really interesting because now I don't get to set up my own gear. He's like, I used to like to be the one. He's like, I don't have to carry it in. We always had roadies to carry it in. He's like, but I wanted to be the one to plug everything in and make sure, tune my violin and all that stuff to know that when I walked on stage, it was going to work. And he says, I was told, no. He's like, our touring schedule is going to be, far more rigorous. There's going to be far more people there. And the liability is that I can't get on stage and play because I've exhausted myself doing all these other things. He's like, so now they mandate that somebody has to take care of my stuff for me. And my only responsibility is to get on stage and deliver the best show that I can. And he's like, it took a little while to get used to this because I'm just used to being the one,
Well,
so yeah.
Yeah, there's something therapeutic about having that moment with your gear.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, plugging in an amp, setting up drums, tuning. There's something zen and therapeutic and connected with you and your gear, that I think any musician can relate to. And then on the days where you like don't sound check, which is a lot of bands, especially further into the tour, it's like a lot of times I'm seeing my drum set for the first time walking on stage. And it's like, there is a disconnect that you have to like reacquaint yourself. But there's also a freshness that's really great. There's a fresh spark if you haven't played drums that day. All of a sudden you're like rediscovering the drum set. For me, at least.
That's
Depending
cool.
on the day, it's not every day, but once in a while where you're just like, oh, wow, this is so much fun. Like, listen to how great this cymbal is. I knew I liked this cymbal. I remember why I like this cymbal. And you just kind of get into this zone. And if your ears are right or whatever, if everything's clicking, and you can appreciate yourself and you can appreciate what's going on with that guy over here and this vocal over here, and you can just hear it and feel it. There's something about that freshness, but there's also something about the connectivity with the drum set or with your chosen instrument.
Yeah, right.
That's great.
That's fascinating. Yeah. I know it makes sense. Is that pretty common that you don't sound check? Sound check is not a mandatory part of the daily flow, no matter where you are on the tour.
Just depends. He usually likes to sound check. Pat, the singer, he likes to like make sure. Some days it's like he's just gonna sleep. Some days it's just like he's gonna sleep or do something else, or he's got commitments or whatever.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Or other days it's a festival or something, and you just it's not in the cards to sound check, or you flying the day of or something, and the crew just needs that extra time. There's several factors, but like I love those days where we don't sound check. Like it's that feeling like when you've been off your instrument for like a week.
Yes.
That feeling when you come back kind of weird with some new ideas and like quirky, and your like left foot's not quite working.
I was just going to say that the little nuances aren't quite right. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
You're not samey. You don't throw down the same stuff. You all of a sudden, out of necessity or whatever's going on with your body that's different, you're just like, okay, I'm going to lean into this weird thing. That's going on with me today. Yep. And it's kind of great. It's kind of great to have that weird freedom.
There's a curve to it, I think, right?
Yeah.
Like if I go too long not playing, then I notice the little things, like my buzz roll goes away.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But
any small thing, like especially I call it tour hands. You come home and you're trying to do a record, and all of a sudden your hands are just totally dumb.
Yeah.
And like you can't do anything finessey, and you're just like, whoa, I guess. Yep. No, I guess we're just surviving today.
But yes, you're just in survival mode. That's right.
Different thing. That's is like different. An inspiring thing that you're like, wow, I forgot how satisfying it is to like hit this thing. Yeah. Because I haven't done it today.
You haven't done it in a few days.
I didn't do it at 2:00. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. Yeah. Where it's just like, oh, right. I like playing the drums. This is fun. Like,
you like fall in love real quick.
Yeah.
And then you get annoyed again, but like,
It's like, oh, we're still doing this? Again tomorrow?
That's just being a tortured dumbass drummer.
That's right. Correct. I think it happens to any musician, right?
Yeah.
But yes, dumbass drummers for sure.
Dumbass drummer.
All right, we have there's some specific things I wanted to get into. But if we wind up staying with story time and we don't get into any of the specifics, that's also fine. Like we can do this again. There's no rules.
Yeah. No, let's get specific.
All right, I want to get specific.
How many drivers? How many drivers is too many drivers in your ears?
We'll talk about this. I want to. We're doing a promo swap with another podcast that is really interesting. And hey, while I've got you here, if you are a fan of classic albums and music history, you've got to check out this show, Album Archives, the Vault of Music History. It's a fantastic micro podcast that's counting down the top 300 albums of all time, one record at a time. Every Monday, they drop a new bite-sized episode that dives into a legendary album, exploring what made it great, how it came to be, why it still matters today. From timeless rock and soul to hip-hop and beyond, Album Archives gives you a quick, engaging, deep dive into the records that define generations, all in under 10 minutes. Start the countdown from number 300 and follow it all the way to number 1. Just search for Album Archives on your favorite podcast app and unlock the vault of music history. And thanks to the team over there for doing this little promo swap with us. So we're going to talk about in-ears. The first question I want to ask you is, do you like in-ears, Matt?
That's a trick question.
I know it is. That's why I asked it.
I much prefer, and I wish I could get away with these.
Like over-the-ear headphones?
Over-the-ear headphones, because maybe it's a placebo thing, but it feels like the sound has a space to exist in, whereas if it's crammed in your ear, it's just straight to your brain and too, for lack of a better word, dry for me.
Yes.
I like the feeling of headphones, and
Okay.
I grew up like with like ear pods under like lawnmower headphones, and
Okay.
that was always my favorite thing to do to like practice drums.
Sure. You're playing along with stuff or whatever. Yep.
So I like the cans, but in-ears is fine, especially if you do a couple workarounds, which I do.
What workarounds do you do? Let's talk about this. Because I think what you're describing, there were a variety of reasons I wanted to have this conversation with you, which was sort of the catalyst to scheduling this episode together. Because I know that you are constantly sort of seeking perfection with your in-ears and never really getting there. And I know that a lot of people listening to this show also can be described that way, and the adaptation to in-ears, the transition to in-ears is something a lot of people have a lot of trouble with, and some never really get there. Yeah. I think what you're describing with preferring cans to in-ears is the isolation. I think in-ears are going to isolate you from the outside better than any cans. I know there are isolation headphones, but it's not the same. So.
For me, the thing, in-ears often do their job too well for me, because what I've found that I like is ambience. I like a room sound. I like reverb. I like air on things. And that includes like guitar cabs, like everything. I want everything to breathe and have a space to exist in. So when I plug in-ears into my brain, all I want is to get out of it. So one thing that's worked for me is like old ears that maybe the drivers, I don't know if they're finely tuned or not, if they've lost their stuff, but like I'm not getting a full seal, so I'm getting a little bit of tiny ambience from the stage volume, in this case the stage. Also use them in the studio, but oftentimes you can get some sort of room sound. You're usually in a nice sounding room, and that's part of the blend of what you're getting.
Yep.
So live, I found myself a few years ago just like uninspired with dry close microphones. So I implemented this crotch mic. It's an M160. It's a Bayer M160, which is a very focused microphone, kind of in between the bottom snare and beater pedal, the drum pedal, bass drum pedal, and then going through a small pedal board, which is essentially just reverb that's compressed and distorted.
Okay.
And so once I did that, it unlocked what I'm missing live. And in a way, it's just this kind of dirty reverb compressed just reaction to the close mics. So you hit the snare drum and it goes, and
okay.
You're getting this kind of excitement live that I'm used to in the studio, of like, okay, you're hearing the wind moving in the room.
Yes.
In theory.
Yes.
And
so you just have this like kind of under your snare drum and like sort of near the kick drum, like in that little area.
It just floats above the kick drum and it's pointed down and it's really focused. So it's eliminating cymbal bleed and all that.
Right.
It's just getting drums basically.
Yeah.
And you're just getting that reaction and you blend it in. You work with a monitor person and you blend it into your dry mic sound, and it's really helped. And like the guys on stage are getting hip to it too and asking for it more. So that's been like a bit of a thing, and I'm really proud of like that, like the thinking that went into that of like, you know what I could do? Just have something I can control.
Yes.
Tiny little pedal board. I've got a great gig where like I'm able to implement that and people
Right.
are down with that, and all of a sudden I see it every day and it's there and I'm used to it and it's great. And it's the fact that the compression is after the reverb just makes it fast. And so like if you're sticking a plate on your drums or whatever, if you have some sort of effect going from the board, it's going to be fine, but then it's going to be taken up by that other frequency. So this is just a fast reaction that kind of excites the sound a bit. And you don't have to just be injuring yourself, just hitting so hard, which you end up doing a lot of the time.
Which you end up doing. Yeah. That's really interesting.
So more than the in-ears themselves has been just this like, okay, what am I missing here?
What am I missing? Well, that that's the question that I ask anyone that I'm helping like get to comfort level with in-ears is, what are you missing? And a lot of times you don't know the answer. You don't, or you at least you don't know how to articulate it.
I know.
And it takes some time to sort, and sometimes happy accidents to be like, wait, I love that. What happened tonight? And it's like, oh, well, you had accidentally, cranked the drum overhead in your ears. It's like, oh, okay, because the drum overhead is often where I start with people. Even non-drummers, I've had guitar players say, I'm two in my head, and it's like, all right, let me give you some drum overhead. Like, well, I don't want that. Like, well, I think you might, because that's going to give you the stage wash, which is kind of, it's a place to start.
The audience mics, like there's different things you can do, but that the instant reaction of the compressor just slapping it back at you is a really interesting sensation, and something that, it's less focused. You definitely hear what you're doing, the articulation of what you're doing less if you have it cranked in your mix.
But
then you feel that big arena sound. All of a sudden, maybe it's good that you're not hearing your little ghost strokes, because guess who else isn't? The audience.
Right.
Right. So it's maybe the best, most kind of innovative thing I've recently done, and just that I'm like, oh yeah, this was a great idea.
That's a great, no, I like this idea. That, okay.
Yeah.
Well, again, you figured out what you were missing. And a lot of times it is that. It's things are too crystal clear in the ears, and I want less of that. But not to the point where I lose what I actually want to hear, right?
No,
you want to be in control.
Well, you want to have a vibe. You don't want this sterile vanilla stage sound.
Yes.
You want to be able to get inspired by something, so you can find that every night instead of going through the motions. You want to. The goal is to play every song like it's the first time you're playing it.
Yes.
And by the 500th time, you still have to try and convey that feeling for an audience member.
Yes.
Because it's their first time hearing it live and with the kick drum going through their chest, and you have to play it not loudly, not more passionately, but certainly inspired. And I think that's the job, Play it like it's the first time.
Yeah.
So this workaround has really done wonders for just that inspiration level on stage. Gig 52 of a summer tour, you're still stoked.
You're still yes. Yeah, or at least it sounds like you are.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
But and having a good mix can really change what I find is when the mix is good, I can get lost in the gig, as opposed to being distracted by the technical elements of what I'm doing. Yeah.
I have a talkback mic that goes to monitors and drum tech and playback and everything. And if I need adjustments, which I do, I'll talk to them. And I've heard my drum tech say this, in the first couple of songs, he can tell there's a couple gaps where I usually talk to them, and either it's a mix thing or I'm joking around about something. They've been putting Dum Dum lollipops on, and I'm talking about the flavors of what's going on there. So he can tell by my body language at this point if I'm uncomfortable, but that's rare. And usually I'm just joking around, and it's like, okay, gig's gonna be great.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yep. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I like the idea of that mic. That's good. And if you are in a scenario where you can't implement that in the same way, starting with just reverb on everything. Get the instrument reverb in your ears. Get the vocal reverb in your ears. To me, that's table stakes now. If an engineer can't give me reverb in my ears, it's like, well, then let me mix it. Like, I got this.
And it starts with the singer, obviously.
Yes.
And like, if they want to hear some epic reverb so they can be inspired, that's the most classic version of it. It's like,
correct.
Hey, why don't you give me some reverb and delay so I can feel this tune, get this take a little better, you know?
Yeah.
But like, it goes to guitars and everything. Like, I've heard producers say that like the best guitar sounds, I've never gotten a better sound from like a close mic on a guitar cab. I always get the coolest, most interesting sounds by revealing the space and giving it a couple feet or 10 feet or 50 feet, you know?
Yep.
You always get a more interesting sound by absorbing whatever space you're in. Not for radio broadcast, because I know my room is crazy today.
Well,
so
and even on stage, like, you can't put a mic 10 feet from a guitar cabinet.
No.
And because it's not going to get only the guitar cabinet, right?
But you can replicate that sound.
You can, correct.
And especially with these modelers, amp modelers and stuff, it's like, okay, what kind of, you want a Royer 121, 3 feet from the, and is it off axis and like, there's so many, the tech has developed to a place where you can, in theory, replicate that. And that's what this kind of crotch mic workaround is.
I love that you call it the crotch mic. Yep.
Yeah, crotch mic. Oh, that's where it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like just replicate the thing that you love, that you miss. Whatever is lacking, you can get it.
Yeah.
One way or another.
Yeah, for sure. When I had Brian Cross, aka Froggy, on the show, and at the time he was production managing the Doobie Brothers. I think he still is. And
I love that. I love Ed, drummer.
And he said they were having a problem. He had mixed monitors for a lot of people over the years, and so, you know, that's kind of where his head also lives. And he said that when they were getting ready for the tour, and even for the first couple of dates, they were having trouble. All three guitar players were complaining that their guitars didn't sound right in their ears. Again, hard to articulate what not right means, you know, when you're not here, you're not in their brain or any of that.
Yeah.
And he tried a few things and then finally moved, and it's ironic. He pointed as we were doing the show, because I use an Earthworks Ethos microphone for my that's what you're hearing me through here. And he pointed and said, that microphone, that Earthworks Ethos, I put on every one of those guitar cabinets, and the complaints stopped. And the reason was, he said, they're not hearing their guitar amp like it sounds to them when they just play it in a room. He said, so I wanted to go to a microphone that doesn't offer too much color on the sound, something that just gives you the sound. Yeah. And sure enough, that answered the question. And when I moved to using, again, you know, this is kind of what Earthworks does. They're sort of like they give you
very transparent.
Yeah, it's transparent mics. When I moved to the SR20 Gen 2 as my drum overhead, it was the first time I put my ears in, and I was like, wait, my drums sound like my drums, not some approximation of them that I'd sort of gotten used to over time. You know, I mean, so it's interesting.
And the opposite is true too. Like, the opposite is true too. Especially, you know, we all got better at engineering and recording ourselves in COVID.
Yeah, for sure.
And I found the opposite to be true a lot, especially in project studios, home studios, different rooms that aren't just this brilliant, that aren't capital, you know?
Yep.
So you oftentimes I like the coloration of a preamp or a microphone that's like making my cymbals not sound like cymbals, but sound a bit darker or a bit more mid-rangey or whatever it is. A bit less mid-rangey sometimes, where I'm just like, oh yeah, that's nice. That's a light, just wispy sound. I like the coloration, and it's so subjective. There's so many microphones out there that sometimes you really want the crystal clear, transparent. I want it to sound like it sounds in the room.
Yes.
And other times you're like, you know what? I don't like this room as much as I thought I did.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to put this crazy, I'm going to put it through an API and color it up, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I think it was Matt McGinn from Roswell Audio, another microphone manufacturer, said to me, I think he was the one that said it to me, but the statement stuck, that microphones are just EQ devices. Yeah. And so pick the one EQ that you want to start with, and then season to taste from there if necessary. So yeah,
if you're starting from a good point, that's the goal, is to have a great starting point.
Yes, right.
Like I stopped using an SM57 on my top snare drum right away before I knew anything. I was just like, oh yeah, for some reason my ear is over this thumpier sound and wants something a little more scooped. And that's just, as soon as I started asking people, like, what's a good kick drum placement of a microphone? The answer was always, by these lovely friends that I have who know how this is done, the answer was inevitably wherever it sounds good.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, so there's not
don't have to
one
follow
microphone and one placement. There are infinite, which is paralyzing, but also like wherever your tastes go. You've been informed your whole life by music and drummers and players. Use that. Use your instincts and find where you think it sounds cool.
Yeah. Agreed.
And like get it in phase, but that's kind of it. Then you're inspired. You're hearing something inspiring. You're playing better. The drum, or instrument is speaking through you, and off you go.
Good to go. All right, so you moved from a 57. What is your current favorite snare drum mic?
201 Bayer Dynamic.
Interesting.
I think it's an M201. It's just like it's a dynamic mic, but it's got the articulation of a condenser and can deal with high velocity.
Yep.
I just like it a lot better.
Interesting. Yeah, you're right. It's a dynamic moving coil mic. I've used these. Oh, okay. Yeah, interesting. I was in a club, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and I was using we were opening for, Bitter Pill was opening for a band called Bellis Bartok, and we were using their drummer's kit. I brought my own snare, but I kept the snare mic, obviously, make changeover easy. So I popped the mic he had on, or the engineer just put it there, whatever. And we sound checked, and I went to the engineer afterwards, and I'm like, dude, and it was a Telefunken M80 that he had put on the snare. And I never liked those. I like those on other people's voices for vocals. I do not like them on my voice for vocals, but it doesn't mean it's a bad mic. It's just not the right fit. Right. But I'd never tried it on a snare. And he's like, oh, yeah. He's like, that's the best snare mic I've ever found. I'm like, right, because it has a little bit of a thicker sound. It's like, but again, seasoned to taste. It's your
so
thing.
It's so great. Yeah. Like the fact that art is infinite like that is so great.
Yes.
There's not one answer.
Yes.
There's
not.
A billion.
There's a billion. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And sometimes it's one mic, and sometimes it's 40 mics, and everywhere in between.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's why we keep getting all this silly gear and amassing.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it?
Too many. Yeah. That's too many. And then you go the opposite. Then you simplify and get rid of stuff because you're feeling samey and getting the same sounds, and you change it up.
That's
and then
right.
You start building that collection up again. It's just it's a nasty cycle being a
It's
musician.
a terrible cycle. Yeah, it's terrible.
Not to mention snare drums and hi-hats and
all the things. Yeah. I'm trying to think of the model number of the Earthworks. I think it's the DM17 is the snare mic that I am obsessed with now. It is. It's the DM17. It's got a great clip on it. It just fits right on the rim of any drum, so you don't have to worry about like a stand in your way. And it sounds. It's got similar to the M80, like to my ears. So So now
you send one to all the people who do your podcast. You send them one.
I can send your address to Earthworks and see what happens, and we'll go from there.
That's such a nice gift. The holidays are coming up. Good for you,
The holidays are coming up. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's, why not? Sure. It's a great, Earthworks is a New Hampshire company here, and so I've gotten to know them.
They were New Hampshire.
They are.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I did not either until I played a gig. And it's this weird, it was this place called Hippie Hollow. I think it still exists. It was just in the woods. This guy was the sound engineer, and he was typical New Hampshire woodsy guy, flannel and a hat, nothing. And he had these microphones that were freaking amazing. And I asked him about it. He's like, well, I made those. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, I work for Earthworks. I'm their chief designer.
Oh,
like,
come on.
Oh, okay.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Earthworks, like the microphones?
Yeah, right. It's like we're talking about the same company. It's like, no, they're here in New Hampshire.
Earthworks, the dispensary.
Yeah, that would make more sense. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, man.
They're going to love
cool.
that. They're going to love. Yeah.
That's really cool, man. I didn't know they were a New Hampshire company. They're such a great company. That's awesome.
And they have an interesting history. Earthworks started by making speakers, and the guy who founded Earthworks, I can't remember his name. He's passed on now, but he was obsessed with the idea, and it's not necessarily wrong, that human hearing goes from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. If he made speakers that produce sound above 20, like up to 30,000 hertz, then you wouldn't get that top end distortion. Well, you would, because every speaker gets top end distortion, but you wouldn't hear it because the speaker's producing up to 30K, and so the distortion is happening outside of the range of what any of us would hear.
Oh, weird.
Right, but in order to prove this and sell speakers, they had to build a reference microphone that could capture up to 30K.
Yeah.
And so they would send the microphone for free out to people who had bought the speakers so that they could prove that their speakers were tuned right and all that stuff. And finally people are like, hey, can we get some more of those microphones?
Yeah.
And that's how they became a microphone company.
That's
long
so
story short. But
I didn't know any of that. That's amazing.
I know. Yeah.
Meanwhile, those speakers were probably killing dogs everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I don't think they make speakers anymore. Like they just became. It was like, oh, it turns out we know how to make microphones accidentally.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right. Well, those are the best. Those are the best things that are happy accidents.
Yeah, man. Pivot when your customers tell you to pivot.
That's right.
Pivot. It's a good thing. All right. I like. This has been fantastic. I could ask you more questions, but we could just do you on show. I'm curious about this because everybody has different answers, and I always love this. So I'm actually going to change the question that I started to ask to a different thing. When you're on the road, do you bring anything with you that is the comforts of home? That
I mean. Yeah, my wife and I trade and have traded this little red notebook. Just when one of us is leaving, usually me, I'll drop it under the pillow or something, write a note. And then if she comes and visits me, she'll leave it, hide it in my bag or something. It's a little cute thing we do. And she says it herself that the notes have been, if you look at the chronology of the notebook, they were really romantic and lovely at the beginning, and now they're just like, I'll see you later.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
but that's the thing, that's the little thing that we've had for years that is kind of a steadfast standby reminder of home.
Home. I love that. That's great. I like that. Oh, that's awesome.
But really, I try to travel light.
Yeah. Oh, well, you have
that's
to,
the
right?
thing.
Yeah, you have to.
We did a month in Europe this summer, and I just brought a carry-on. It's just I got this.
Wow,
done it before.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I know what I'm gonna need.
How difficult is this? It's such a procedural question. How difficult is it to get laundry done on the road? Like that's got to be a thing, a problem that has to be solved.
It is, but we're spoiled because we have someone take care of it.
Got it. So right. Of course, that's somebody else's job. I don't mean to be dismissive of that person. That's great.
Why when we come home, we're just like, what? Wait. Because, think about the reality of touring, at least in my band, is that you were so spoiled. You get off the bus, which is a bus and not a van.
Right.
And you get off a bus where you've slept beautifully for 10 hours. You open the door, and there are just arrows going food, dressing room, stage, and it's the most spoiled non-thinking you can do. There's no thinking. You just there's just you stumble off the bus and you just go in the direction of food and coffee and everything's provided for you. Laundry's done. There's no dishes, and then you come home and you're like,
where are the arrows?
Yeah, where are the arrows? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you just get into this dumb state of mind where you come home and you have to relearn how to be human again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that
But
makes.
yeah,
I mean,
no, life is
yeah.
good on the road, and like, you know, for all the things that are lacking, the home creature comforts and everything, you get to be spoiled and made a big deal of when
Right.
you're the
Yeah.
artist, and it's fun to feel important, and then it's also fun to like come back to reality at the end.
I
of
can.
it.
Yes, that absolutely makes sense. I've told this story a few times. I had the other, the sort of the core of my career has been being a publisher and a presence in the Apple community. And when Macworld Expo would happen, I would go there and could not. I could go nowhere there where I wasn't recognized. And I mean, and that's wonderful, right? I mean, I was able to build a career on this. This is amazing. And but home is home. And I went to pick up. My wife had dropped off an iMac that was. We needed something done or whatever at the local Apple dealer when there wasn't like Apple stores or anything. It was just like a local business or whatever. And it turned out she actually dropped it off while I was at Macworld Expo, but that didn't really matter. But once I got home, I was like, oh, I'll go pick up that iMac. And I hadn't seen, my family all week, and my kids were young in like the 6 to 8 range or something like that. So I took my daughter, who's like 8 years old, with me to pick it up because it's like, well, we'll hang out together and we'll do this errand together. And I get to the Apple store and waiting in line or whatever, or not the Apple store, but the Mac dealer, repair dealer. And I'm waiting there, and they finally ask, like, what are you here? Oh, can I help you? Yeah, I've got to pick up an iMac. What's the name? I said, well, I'm Dave Hamilton, but it's under Lisa. And I mean, you could have heard a pin drop in the room, right? And
He's here.
Right, he's here. Oh my God, it's you! Like,
Yeah.
And this was in the days like podcasts were a thing, but video wasn't a thing. So like they wouldn't necessarily recognize my face, but as soon as like we talked, and so we did 20 minutes of like, oh yeah, hey, it was like fine, like normal. It's like I had been used to it because I'd been doing it all week. And we're putting the iMac. It's just my daughter and I. As we're putting it in the car, she says to me, it was the best line. What was with those geeks? And that was it. It was so perfect. It's like right back down to reality. Love this.
Oh,
Yep.
that's so funny. What is with those geeks?
What was with those geeks?
Oh, that's so fun. Kids. I mean, leave it to kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was great. And it was that, that instant reset back to, I didn't even have a plane ride in between the two things. It was just like, you are coming back to reality
Seconds
now.
later.
Yes, seconds later.
I got recognized a couple years ago in our hood here in LA, and the guy was really Allie, my wife, and I were on a walk, and this guy was walking his dog, and he approached us, and you could tell he was like nervous. And he goes, hey, I'm a big fan. And I go, you are? and he, yes, go on. What about me?
Yes. Oh, stop. Yeah.
And he says something, and we go, wait, just come again. What was that? And he goes, are you going to be in the reboot? And I was like, we put it together that he's got the wrong person.
Yeah, you are misrecognized.
He thought I was some actor that was in Sex and the City, like a nominal actor in Sex and the City. And he was asking me if I was going to be in the reboot. I said no. And then you could see his face slowly get more and more disappointed when he found out that I wasn't the guy he thought I was.
That's right.
And there's my slam back to earth story.
My
emotions were also very high. Like, oh my God, someone knows who I am.
That's
and
great.
then no, they don't.
No, they don't. Well, I mean, I noticed like when I came out to see you, whatever it was, a summer and a half ago or 2 summers ago, that you get to enjoy visual anonymity even pre-show. Like you came out into the house and sat with us for a little bit. And I mean,
it's
that's a wonderful, like, that's that's kind of nice that
I mean, like Pat's the only person who can't go out into we're all anonymous, which is great. And like also when you are recognized at a train show or on the cruise or something, the fans are always super gracious and super nice and super aware and not trying
not weird.
Not weird. Definitely just lovely folks. So it's
that's
easy
good.
and harmless. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fun. Well, thanks for doing this. What a blast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Is there anything that the one thing that we didn't get into that I really wanted to get into, so I'm probably going to drag you back on soon, is the excellent social media presence that both you individually and the band in general has, because I think that you're crushing it there. So
they're really good at it. I mean, like I'm so out of it that I just, like, in a perfect world I wouldn't do it at all.
Really? Oh, okay. So it's not but it.
Well,
so
as far as my own
yeah.
personal,
Sure.
I think you have to for a business. At my business, I have to.
Yep.
And I think that Train as a band, it's so important that they do it. And you know, we all, like, whenever it's happening, we just do. You know, they're just like, hey, we're going to film you, and here's the questions. And everyone kind of groans and rolls their eyes for a second, and then we just have fun with it. So
it's clear you have fun with it. Okay, so
they're all funny. That's why it's great. You know,
well,
everyone's a comedian on that tour, and everyone's just busting balls the whole tour. So to catch any of it on camera is fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it really. Especially the Train social media presence. I mean, it's relentless. It is nonstop. Yeah. But I mean, that's a good thing, because people can't come to see your show every day. So to give them some way to stay connected to the band is huge. I think every band at any level needs to do this.
Yeah, and I think Pat is a likable personality, and, like, you know, publicly facing. He comes off. He has like 5% of the sarcasm that he usually does off camera, which is great. Which is like the appropriate amount.
Correct. Yes.
So they tap into that, and they're smart to do that. So it's great.
And so, do you is there time scheduled where it's like, okay, we are now going to film 18 different things for social media that we're then going to dole out over time or whatever?
Because they know we don't. It would be hard. Not hard. It would be weird for us to be doing it every day. They're just like, we have a great Crush Management is the management company, and this woman named Gabby kind of is in charge of that and goes, okay, you're going to do these 5 things today. We're just going to knock them out, have fun with it, or we can do them another day. It's like zero stakes, zero pressure, so we just kind of go.
That's great.
It's always like scheduled fun time.
It's scheduled fun time. Yeah. Okay. Well, but see, okay. So, folks that are still listening, if you haven't given up by now,
walk away now.
That is the lesson. I mean, to me, that's a big takeaway: is scheduled fun time that is recorded to be used for your social media. Because all you need to do is put out these, 20-second clips. And that's what's engaging to folks, but the consistency of it is the real key. So
I think there's a science to it that those people are into, and Gabby does a great job of it. Pat
there's
does
a science.
Great job with
it. Okay.
So it's nothing we're really aware of, but
a
lot goes into it.
Clearly, a lot goes into it. Okay, I was wondering if the band was submitting ideas, or if it was up to you to come up with any of this stuff. So no, that's great. Okay.
Yeah, we just kind of have fun with it and roll.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. It's really smart. Thank you for taking the extra time to address that, because
we can start the show now.
We can start the show now. All right. Yeah, actually, you know what? I just realized I haven't been recording, so we need to do the whole thing all over again.
This time with feeling.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, thankfully that hasn't happened, knock on wood, in a long time. I've been doing this 20 years. In the early days of podcasting, there were, probably a handful of episodes where we'd get to the 20-minute mark and I'd stop my co-host and be like, dude, we gotta start again.
Oh my God, we gotta recreate whatever that was.
Yeah, that magic, it needs to feel like the first time, right? Yep,
Hey, that's what we do.
That's the thing. That's showbiz. That's right. That's what it is. There are 3 words that we say at the end of the show, which are exactly what we're talking about here. What are those 3, my friend?
Well, I'm looking at them now. They are always be performing.
That's it, man. Absolutely. Where can people find you, Matt? Yep.
I have a website, mattmusty.com, and I'm on Instagram and Twitter.
Okay.
Just my name. I'm the only one of me.
You're the only one of you.
Unless the Sex and the City guy somehow has my name too. But,
That's right. Yes. Well, thanks for hanging out, and
thanks for having me back. What a pleasure to talk with you any day.
This was super fun, man. Yeah. I loved it. Folks, check out mattmusty.com. Follow Matt on Instagram while you still can. It sounds like you're reserving the right to change that.
That's right.
So, yeah. Visit Gig Gab Podcast for everything else, and always be performing, folks. We'll see you next week.
We did it.
We did it. Yeah. I'm going to end the stream here. But
Well done.